Welcome to the Integration Station. I'm Naturally Ashley, your host, here to guide you down the rabbit hole into the world of psychoactive plants, frogs, and fungi. Good morning, you beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Integration Station. I'm Naturally Ashley, your host, here with special guest and friend, Ami Love You. And Ami is a self-taught as a vegan cook, as well as an artist and a musician. So she is really an inspiration when it comes to tapping into that creativity. She's sharing with us her experience working with LSD as well as other medicines. I find that it's really enlightening. She's such a beautiful soul, and she's so young and so wise. She's really found a way to bring it all together using these altered states of consciousness to develop wisdom. And so I'm really excited to share her with you. At the end, I've brought on in inspiration of talking about LSD with her a special video from our friends at AfterSkool. And it's all about the history of LSD, how it was used in the past for good and for evil, and how it's come full circle now so that we can use these medicines in a more wise and conscious way. So without further ado, let's get started.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
Hello, you beautiful souls. Welcome back to the Integration Station. I'm your host, Naturally Ashley, and I've got a special guest here with us, Ami Love, and she's going to share with us some of her psychedelic journeys as well as the integration work and the messages that have come through. I was really inspired to have her on just because of how her story transitions into so many areas that I think will resonate with the audience here, including diet, being a self-teacher, and really just diving in to direct experience. And I think she's going to be a wonderful influence and also inspiration to many of you here. And yeah, I guess without any further ado, I'll just pass her over to you. And Ami, can you just share your story? Let everyone know what started your journey. And
yes, well, about 3 years ago, I took LSD with a friend, but she knew exactly what she was doing. She taught me the background of what the plant was about before I took it, so I could have the right intention. And my intention was very curious to know what was inside the human mind, what is the purpose of being alive, and it gave me more aspect and perspective to what is really going on within our own mind. And it goes beyond the mind, it goes through the body and soul, and it made me feel so like connected from within and outside of the world and the universe. So that was my main curiosity. So when I took it, I didn't really eat, and I didn't really know if I had to eat before I took it, but I felt like it was just kind of meant to be, because I had it was to me like a life or death like vision, because when it had peaked, I got to see like the trees got very elongated, and after a turn, and it just turned like black, like there wasn't any stars, it was just black. And then it was very like vibrant light, and after that light, it was like I was in a field, but it was like my soul was free, like I was finding my soul for the first time, and I was feeling like a love like I've never had it before. Like so much love that you start crying of it. And I felt like I was just floating in that speed of light. Like I was literally sitting right next to a tree, well grounded, and I just felt like I was just like floating in light. And that's the moment where my life flashed, because that's kind of where I was getting a bit like nervous, but I think it was because I didn't eat, and I was just getting like the most important scenes of my life, my favorite childhood memories. I got to see that. Very important things to my life, like things that meant so much joy to me, and things that mattered to me, and reasons why I wanted to come back, because it was like it was kind of like a voice inside of me that told me like I could have stayed or I could have come back. But within that visualization, I realized why I had to come back, because I had so many other things to do, and I just realized that I'm barely living life. And that's when I started realizing that that's kind of what life is about, to live for the things that you love to do, the things that are meaningful, things that matter, things that should matter to people, because all we have is our body and our mind and our soul. And I feel like that's what it made me understand. That's one of the first things it made me realize, is that we're a spirit inside a human body, and we're here in this life to enjoy and to create our own reality, like if it's our own vision of heaven. And that's when I had to go back to my friend's house, and after that realization, I just got a bit nervous, because I was just getting very hungry, and I had to eat because it was very strong, it was very intense. It was my first time. And that's when she started playing some Grateful Dead. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, because I'm a bit nervous. But she was playing the Ripple, and within she played that song, I was just receiving the messages. Like I was feeling what the artist was singing, and it was like, wow, I actually understand why are they singing this. And it's like, it was that song that made me like, it was that little part where it says the thoughts are broken and perhaps they're better left undone. But it made me realize like it's easier living with your eyes closed than it is once you realize what's really going around, because it makes you have to be a stronger person to face those fears, knowing that they're around, because now you are aware of them. And that's the message it gave me. But it was very guided. The setting was guided, because after she made me a very she was already vegan, so she already knew what she was doing, and she was telling me about how it's not good to eat the animal meat, because you feel the pain that they eat when they kill them. So you're eating the pain inside the muscles when they get killed. And when she was explaining all that, that's literally when I was just like getting like visions, like, and I was like getting different scenes from space and time, because within when she said that, I had a picture in my mind that it was just like if I was in the slaughterhouse and I just seen animals get slaughtered all around me, and I was feeling the pain. Like it made me very emotional to feel that they're getting killed and that this is normalized. And that's kind of where I stepped out of from me stopping to eating meat, because I just couldn't be part of that pain anymore, and I don't want to be part of that animals suffering, but to actually feel it, it's like a different understanding and a different awareness. It just made me realize what is important in life, and I think that's when I realized that health is the most important, and it is to me the most wealth, because ultimately that's what we're striving for, and when we feel healthy, we feel happy. And that's the message I got when my friend was showing me what organic foods are good for you, because we just ate a salad and bread, and it made me feel so good. And it was at that time, like, I did not know about different kinds of foods, organic foods, vegan foods, and it was a very like eye-opener to feel that with her guiding me. And I feel like that's where my health journey started. And from there we went on to she put some videos of the planet. I think there's a video, it's called that we're at the center of the universe, and it's the earth, and it makes you think that all these things are happening in the world, but here we are in this circle and this floating rock, and it just looks so calm outside in space, but there we are. And it made me see like beyond the aspect of the world. That's when I started seeing the universe, because in those videos I was seeing just space and the cosmos, and it made me have a more different perspective to it's actually all going on inside our mind, because we are the ones that are perceiving this in this time and space. And that's when I started realizing that we are more widely connected than we are beyond that, what we could see. Because I feel like that's why she put those videos, because that to me was a message that we are connected to a higher source than we could see. But that's when I was able to feel that. I felt like the universe was opening inside of me. It was like a heart opening. It was awakening me to see that we are the universe. There's a universe inside of our minds. And sometimes we don't even know, because I feel like that was the veil that was lifted in this in my journey, because I don't think if I would have seen that, I wouldn't feel like we are part of a larger map of our human consciousness. And that's kind of where I seen that I started feeling like more like metaphorical feelings. Like I started writing down poetry. That's the first time that I grabbed my journal, and I started to reflect everything that was inside my mind. It was just like my higher self was guiding me. And that's the first time that I realized that reflecting what was inside my mind can help me figure out what's going on inside, so that I could balance out my mind, my heart, my body, and soul. And that's when I realized that that is the real work that needs to be done. And that's the healing journey that was guided to me, because the words and the feelings that were coming out, it was mostly me writing down, how can I heal this part of this experience or traumas. That's when I started going. It was a very intense I feel like dose, so it made me go into like shadow work my first time, and I had to go and dive deep to my roots, because there was some traumas that I needed to face and I needed to overcome, because I feel like that's when my spirit was growing, my mind, And I was able to see that that's why I went through that experience, so that I could learn, so that I could get out of that victim mode, and I could see, this is why this happened to me. It's because I had to learn my strength, and I had to teach character. And that's when I started integrating those lessons that I've learned to build that strength in my mind and my heart, because it takes a lot of courage to face those fears. And I feel like that's why it made me more curious into how journaling and writing can help rewire your mind. And it is like the most self-help therapy that I've ever had. And I'm so happy that it guided me to do that, because it has led me to where I'm at right now. It keeps me organized, it keeps me balanced, it keeps my mind balanced, it keeps me on track in this wild journey that we call life. But that's kind of where it all started. And after I just wrote for hours. I was just questioning everything. Like, I was thinking, wow, like, we actually have been here this whole time. But it's like until we awake again that we realize that we've always been alive since before even time was created, that it was just space and us just living in eternal time forever. And I was getting like past life progressions, and I feel like that was like the most I think the best kind of vision I had, because it was like the last peaks that I was getting. And that's kind of where I closed my eyes, and I was just so much at peace. My body was very calm. I was very relaxed. And I just got into this state of mind where it was just like a dream. Like, I just went in for like about probably like 30 seconds, and I was inside a tent. It was like a hut, but it was like if I was back in time, but I was getting to see one of my past lives, and I was just like teaching children, and people would come up to me and ask me questions. But I was I would sing to people and heal their minds and their souls, and I feel like that's when I realized that deep down in my roots, I'm really a healer, because that's when I was able to see my power and how if I could do that in a past life, imagine what I could do now with the more knowledge and the tools that we have. And it made me see like kind of who I am in my own unique consciousness of the universe. So that's literally when because I was singing and I love music, so it led me to, I have a piano, and I started playing just music that was just pouring out for what I was feeling in that moment. And that's kind of where I did get very high visualizations, or I don't really like to use the term hallucinations, because I know that that's really going on, but the reason that we can't see it all the time is because our mind isn't at that level. And I know that when you're on a trip, you're able to see the frequencies and vibrations around you. You're able to see the geometric shapes. You're able to see the colors that are coming out of the sound. And it was like I was just brewing like emotions with music, and color was coming out of it. And I was just like connected to the source of creation. And that's honestly what made me feel like we are the creators of our reality. We make our day, we make it what it is to what we're feeling, and what we're feeling leads us to what we do in our actions. And that's kind of where I wanted to see myself healing people with music, because it makes them feel joy, and if I can make people smile for a while, because I feel like they haven't smiled, like that could be, that just pays me in joy and love, like just doing that. And that's why I started my page, and I started promoting healing sounds and posting more awareness of how music can be therapy for the mind. It can quiet down the noise that's inside, because it can get very loud at times, and it's a very calming place to go back. And music is it makes the soul sound for the mind and body, and it just made me realize like the big effect that it has, and it can make it have a big impact in humanity and make them feel a little bit of peace and joy. That's all I really want to bring in life, is to make people smile and bring joy, because I don't think without that, I really wouldn't want to see life just black and white. I want to see the color too. And that's kind of where, those were the very most important highlights of my trips in that journey. But there was other scenes that maybe you might ask me later on, but those to me were the most important messages that I received that helped me started my integration with healing tools, healing sound. It led me after the next day to start doing my morning yoga. And I was just like going to sleep after the trip. Like I was still up because the serotonin was very high, and I was just laying down, but I was just getting like, imagining like, oh, tomorrow I'm gonna wake up and I'm just gonna feel so alive, to feel the light and start experiencing my life. And like it was just an eye-opener. Like it made me want to live life. It made me want to just wake up the next morning and enjoy the simple things, but things that really matter. And it made me realize how to be grateful for the things that we have, and instead of me focusing on things that I don't have or don't need, I focus now on things that are important and that truly matter. And I think a life in general, a conscious life, and that is to me health. Health is my wealth, and that's ultimately what I want to bring to this world, is healing to our minds, to our body, with nutrition, diet, exercise, healing sounds, expressing the mind's art. And I feel like integrating that now has gained and gave me the strength to stay consistent with my flow and my journey, because it could get hard at times, but as long as you keep moving forward, even though you're not feeling it, that shows you that you've actually learned the lesson, and you actually took the message that was integrated in my journey. And now I am in the path of getting certified to be a yoga teacher. I want to be a yoga instructor. So integrating yoga into my life, I want to teach that, because I could teach other people how to heal their own body with implementing that exercise daily. That just, it feels like I'm fulfilling my purpose in humanity, because it's like you're passing down the torch, you're passing down the knowledge, so that so that others could feel. And others are a reflection of you. And if you implement that in you, other people could see your healthy habits, and other people could step into your path because they want to feel good too. They want to feel healthy. They want to feel happy. And I feel like that's the part of the integration is leading the example so that others could join this healing journey in life, and so that they could find their own path. And that's where I'm at in the yoga. But I feel like without me ever taking LSD that day, I wouldn't be able to see as clearly as I do now with my life, and it gives me meaning and purpose to live, because it makes me thirsty for knowledge, and I'm such a curious cat to know what's going on. I'm just up thinking about what's going on in the world. What can we do to heal? What can we do to restore and balance humanity? Because I feel like that's part of our nature. It's part of our human nature to do so. It's part of my heart's desire to help heal others, as many as I can. If I can touch one soul and save one soul, I think that's a job done. And if I can heal others, that just will fulfill me. Even though it's very hard to get people to stay consistent on the path, I feel that's why we're here, to guide them, because it's easy to get off trail and it's easy to get lost. And that's why doing this work it's hard, but it's also, it gets your mind stronger for what is really going on in the world, and in reality, because, and I don't mean it in a negative way, I just mean it to be aware, because nature is being destroyed by other people that aren't aware of the effects that we do that have severe damage. And I feel like that's where we must spread awareness, and that's when we should ground people to the roots, to their humanity, that we are part of this world and we should take care of it, because Earth has taken care of us for millions of years. The least we could do is water some plants and plant some seeds of love. And that's honestly what I want to bring to the table, and that's where I want to bring to humanity, is some of that peace and light and universal love that was awakened in me and my heart. And I just want to spread it to others too. It's like spread that contagious love. Right? Because I mean, hate is contagious already. Might as well beat it off with something that's stronger, which is love, that keeps you going even though there's been painful things that have tried to break your heart. And love is the thing that keeps it all together. It's the heart chakra. It holds the spiritual and the physical. It holds the two worlds together that we are walking in. And that's where I want to connect people, is by spreading that awareness of healing. And right now I've been doing the sound healing, and I've been learning about frequencies, about the hertz, and how those could have different effects in getting your brain in alpha or in gamma states, and how to balance out that threshold that is going on in the mind, because the mind never stops. And we have to learn how to balance out the subconscious field by using music to cover up noise. Because I feel like if we can help people balance their set and setting, then we can help them balance more their what's going on inside. And I feel like that's where music comes in, the sound. And right now I've been creating some sound healing that I want to release soon, so that others can help feel some peace. And I feel like I'm heading towards the right direction because my intentions are there. And I feel like I've gone a long way by myself, because I've been mostly doing this and teaching myself about like basically psychology, neurology. I've been reading books about theta therapy, diets, chakra balancing. I have been reading yoga books, meditation. And I read about like those books because that is what makes my consciousness grow. And that is ultimately why I want to put it in words. Sorry about that. I feel like that's kind of where it counts when I took the LSD, is because it was actually worth it, because it led me to this moment in time, to exactly where I need to be. And I feel like that's where some people should steer, because some people, I just wanted to put it out there, some people take it and don't have that right intention. So I want to be a good example of people who take the sacred medicine to actually heal, and not just to misuse it and then lead into a bad trip. Because I feel like a lot of people that I've asked have told me that they have taken it, but they didn't have the right intentions and they didn't know what was going on, so they got scared. I don't feel like they had a right set and setting or right guide to lead them in that. I mean, it's a journey. You're walking into another playing field. You need somebody who's gone there a little bit. And I feel like more people should be aware of that before they ever take a substance or a psychedelic in their life. They need to know what it's about. They need to know the history about it. They need to know why they're taking it. They need to have a good intention to have a good trip. It's like you're going to have a bad intention, so you're going to have a bad trip. You're going to freak out. And I don't want it to get demonized, because some people make a bad image of it when they take it. And I feel like if more people, just like me, could share their experience that they had and how it has affected their life in a positive way, then more people would be open to that change and open to trying these substances that can really help us connect to life, to what really matters in life, to the meaning in life, to question what is life. And that's kind of where I want to lead off with.
Yeah. And, thank you so much. What I'm going to do here is just skip to break and then we'll come back. And I want to ask you some more questions just around these amazing topics that really are, the difference between going to heaven or going to hell when using or working with any psychedelic or psychoactive plant, frog, or fungi. So I'm just going to skip to commercial right here, and then we will meet you back here, okay?
Sounds great.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20, it's so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partner 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420, enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyndonega Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
Growing your own vegetables, flowers, or even medicinal plants can be a challenge without the right equipment and proper know-how. At BMA Hydroponics, not only are they your urban horticultural experts and suppliers, but their staff holds the customer's needs paramount to making a sale. Family-owned with decades of experience and knowledge, they offer free advice in person, by phone, or email. BMA Hydroponics wants to ensure you have the advice you need, which is why you'll find tips and tricks on different ways to grow, like wick, ebb and flow, drip, or aeroponic system, as well as other helpful links at bmahydroponics.com. If you can't find what you're looking for, just let them know, and they'll do everything they can to get what you're looking for. At BMA Hydroponics, each staff member also possesses a federal exemptee MMAR license, making their strong suit empathy, experience, and dedication to their customers. Because when you know how to grow, you'll have results that make you proud. BMA Hydroponics in Belleville, Ontario. Visit bmahydroponics.com.
Let's share PACE everywhere. That way it can help create peace. People everywhere advocating cannabis education. CP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888. And grow on with CP.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Welcome back, our guest, Ami Love. And, I'm going to share all the amazing ways that you can connect with her after this episode and in the description below, because you're definitely going to want to get in contact. I also want to share something that's, I think, really important to address here, and that is that Ami is one of our youngest members of the network. And, I take this really to heart, and I can feel in so many ways, how connected we are in this. I've been working with entheogens for 20 years. That means I started really, really young. And I think that there's something to this, that there was a missing rites of passage along the way. Somehow in the West, it turned into, once you turn 16, you get a driver's license. When you turn 19, you get to drink and gamble. And it's like, where did the sacredity of this rites of passage go? We don't even have it anymore. Whereas, traditionally there were these entheogens that were very much brought to the teenager spirit. And we see this a bit in rave culture and things, but it's not the same because, as Ami mentioned, the intention just isn't always there. For some people it is, yes. I'm not going to dismiss that, but it's really important, I think, to just honor what's happened in the past, to have a bit of a remembering that these were not the alternative to medications in the past, but they were the way, and I just wanted to say thank you, for doing this work on me, for, having the bravery and the courage to not only work with the medicines yourself, but to share the insights and to be continuing to do the work of, self-education, of, changing, maybe some of the default programming that came through, diet and other modalities, or not even modalities, other, habits that later through your journey have turned into very healthy modalities and practices, for where you are on your journey right now. Talking about integration and understanding and even mastering some of these tools for yourself, like diet and nutrition and music therapies. These are things that a lot of, adults and even elders are just getting their hands on now. And, you're very much ahead of the game here. And yeah, I just love that. I'm happy to not only share in today's conversation with you, but, all the many conversations we've had in the past and will continue to have, I'm sure. So I'd love to hear from you more about how you learned to set intention and what that really looks like.
Oh, wow. I just wanted to say thank you. That really means a lot to me. And yes, it has been it's been a rough journey, because it's part of breaking the old habits and creating new ones. And it takes a lot of strength and willpower to do so. And I feel like when we take these substances, it really does align our chakras. Because I felt very motivated to start my integration with my health and diet. Because, like I said, I was just wanting for the next day to start, so that I could start living my life, so that I could start growing and integrating what I've learned. And I feel like getting from the habit of waking up and grounding your energy on your mat and starting your flow, I feel like that is setting the right intention every day to integrate how you can connect with your mind and your body by doing the yoga exercise. You're connecting your thoughts, you're watching your thoughts. You're growing different techniques you use to relax your body and to align your spine. Because that, to me, I feel like that was very important for me to learn, is alignment. Because integrating that knowledge and then going back to learn how your posture could impact your mind, and it could remove away brain fog, it could remove away stresses, tension. And I feel like that's why I integrated my yoga, so that I could feel my body more relaxed, more calm, more at ease, and so that I could get into that higher vibration, because I feel like it does raise your vibration, because I feel like that's where your chakras align. is when you are flowing and you're aligning your back, and you are like releasing the old tension, and you are forming a new body. Because I wanted to share this. It's I went from a bigger size. It was a big size. I was probably like a size 9 in pants, in women's. And what I've noticed implementing my exercise with my yoga, it makes you lose weight when you don't even notice it, because you're more focused on your mind, relaxing your mind and your body, and you're so in tune and focused on it that you're not even worried about losing the weight. And I feel like that most people carry like extra weight because of the tension that they carry. And by integrating my daily yoga every day, I feel like that's where I've grown my strength, not only in my mind but my body. That I'm able to do the crow position that I couldn't do 2 years ago. I barely was able to learn this this year, because it takes a lot of strength in your hands to carry yourself.
Yeah.
And that's where I mean that you have to stay consistent with it, because if you stop, then your muscles start to forget. You have to get your muscle memory. You have to, because the body is like another mind. And that's one of the ones that we can actually move. And by moving our body, it's getting your mind moving instead of getting stuck in thought. Because I feel like most of the time people are stuck in like a feeling or past experience, and it makes them they're just stopping and thinking. But with the yoga, you're actually like flowing your thoughts with your body, and you're releasing all those feelings and emotions from your mind, and it makes me focus in the present, especially when I'm doing balancing positions, such as the dancer's pose. Because if you're not focused right there, you're gonna tip.
Yeah.
It centers you to that time, and it's helped me to train my own mind, and it gives me a lot of self-discipline. And within that self-discipline, I've learned self-love, because that's the most discipline is the most self-love, because you're loving yourself by doing the things that you want to do contrary to how you may be feeling. Because there's some days that I wake up and I'm not as strong as I was yesterday, or I wake up and the next day I'm very strong, and another day it could be strong for the week, and then one day that I'm not really feeling it, and then that's the day where I'm kind of battling my ego. Yeah. I'm like, no, I need to do it. I need to get up. I need to do it, because then I'm gonna feel like self-sabotage. It's kind of, that's where I mean you have to balance the mind and the body, because that's where it's gonna lead you to your actions, and that's part of my integration with exercise. It's staying consistent with your flow, because that's honestly the only thing that has helped me to grow so much, and that is still helping me to grow, because I have so much more to learn and grow in yoga, and my meditation that comes along with it after my yoga flow.
Yeah, and thank you so much. And this is another area I think where our lives are very much parallel, is through, or I guess after working with psychedelics, or through my experience working with psychedelics, eventually it led me to yoga, and it was a specific type of yoga, Kundalini yoga, working very much with the chakras. And then that led me to meditation. Like, I knew of meditation, but I didn't know that yoga was going to be my vessel to finally be able to do it.
Yes.
But because I think you exert yourself in these ways through repetition of movement, aligning your breath, that, you know, by the time you're ready to go into that savasana or the lotus pose, Buddha pose, you get to that meditative state. And I think psychedelics also help with this, because once you have a psychedelic experience, it's very easy to return to those states through meditation. You know, like Ram Dass, how when he brought LSD to a guru in India, that guru took the LSD and nothing happened. And Ram Dass was like, hey, you know, I was just in the Harvard Psychedelic Club. Everybody was getting messed up. How do you not feel this? He quit his job and learned from this guru for the rest of his life. You know, because the guru said that he's already been in those states. He's visited those realms. He's very comfortable being there. You know, this is one reason why we can see that the two worlds, the meditative state and the psychedelic state, are very intertwined. They're connected. Terence McKenna also said that it's really important to be your own guru. And that's because, you know, there is this divine and the answers already within ourselves. And we really do have to empower our own direct experience. And he also stated that while meditation is a wonderful tool, which it 100% is, and I recommend it to everybody, you know, develop out this practice in whichever way you want. Maybe it's a walk, maybe it is through yoga, maybe it's just by sitting there being mindful, or maybe it's contemplating in a journaling practice. But you know, however it is that you choose to meditate, what Terence McKenna was getting at is that psychedelics are so important. It's so important that we reconnect with them and get to those states, because not everybody can learn meditation very fast. It takes a while. It takes practice to get it right, to get to those states. But if you work with psychedelics, you can get there a lot faster because you're familiar with the state. So what he was saying is that there's not enough time for human beings to learn the meditation practice because it just takes too long. But we can easily have a 6-hour, you know, LSD experience and be able to meditate for the rest of our lives.
Yes, I totally agree on that. I actually wanted to share my perspective.
Please.
Exactly where I totally agree where you said that by taking psychedelics, we already experience that meditative state. And I feel like that's kind of where I feel it too. Because right after I took LSD, it just led me to the next day doing yoga and to meditating. And I feel like these plants are kind of like, they're just meant to reconnect our roots to nature, to our human nature. And by reconnecting those roots, we are able to see that it is not just hallucination, it is not just a trip, it's not just you having these visualizations, it's beyond what could be comprehensible. It's the science of the soul. And I feel like I just wanted to share this because it just happened to me. And it's very true what the guru said, because those states, those altered states could be reached naturally. The only reason that people can't reach them is because they don't know them.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you've gone to that place, you could go back to it again. And it's like we have more of a way to get there because we've been there on psychedelics. And this is something that I've been experiencing now after integrating these practices for about 3 years already. say about two months ago, I was just cooking. I was just in my kitchen. But that day I did like about 2 to 3 hours hot yoga with a deep meditation. I was aligning my chakras. I did some self-Reiki on myself. But I was just like in the uttermost peace. I was just living in the present moment. But out of nowhere, something just like grounded me. A very heavy, distorted light as I was just being present. And it was like more intense than LSD. The feeling was very intense. It was a natural hallucination. I was seeing like brain nerves on the walls. Like I was seeing my house, but like if I was inside of my brain. Naturally, I connected myself. So I understand when people say that, or especially when gurus say that, those states could be, you could get there naturally, and they're much more intense. I very much agree because I just had that happen to me, and I could tell you it's a bit much more stronger than the liquid LSD. And if you could just imagine that, the feeling of just doing these things naturally, like just doing your yoga and meditation, and then out of nowhere, it grounds you back to you are just this soul inside this human body, like, and it really has
it's
a whole
humbling.
Yeah, it's like it was just like I had like 3 instant flashes, and it was just, I feel like it was like an alignment or something, because I had never felt that, and I wanted to share that because it just, I agree with Terrence McKinnon. I agree with you that because we have been on psychedelics, it's easier for us to get there into that, you could say, safe haven and mindset, and that peaceful and serenity and calmness. And I feel like if people could reconnect their roots with taking that intention with this sacred medicine, then they could have a better life by practicing meditation. And it, like you said, like they could practice meditation forever, like just by doing it once, just by learning the path once.
Yeah, and thank you so much. You know, yoga is a fabulous integration tool, as well as meditation and sound healing and Reiki and cooking, home cooking. It's like alchemy, you know?
Yes.
I'm curious, just wanted to come back around to intention setting. So setting intentions before working with the medicine. What tips would you give to our listeners here today?
Wow. I think one of the first tips I would give is literally take a piece of paper and write down, why are you taking it? That would be the first question. And from there, they could decipher what they want from that experience, because there's so many messages that you could receive, but it depends on which one that you are going to receive. I would say, like, for me, I wanted to take it because I wanted to see what was inside my mind. So that's all I had when I took it. I was keeping my mind on that thought, with that same question in mind. Keep that question in mind so that it can answer. And also, if they want to take it for healing for depression, anxiety, PTSD, I would write down in the journal major highlights so that you could go back, because sometimes when you're in those states, we could like feel scattered, and we need
Starburst.
yes, honestly, and you need kind of like a guide, a list to do things. What do you plan to do with it, since you're gonna be in this altered state of mind for hours? There's so many things you could do. You could journal, you could contemplate, reflect, because I feel like before you do anything, right, or creation or anything that, why a lot of people think it looks so amazing because of the art that's been created from it. Before you can even do those things, you need to heal your mind and your heart so that you could do those things right. Because you can't just jump into it. You're gonna have to do the shadow work, and that's kind of going through your own traumas, things that you know that you want to set the record straight for your own experiences and feelings, things that you want to wash away. For me, it's like, if I have I would write down my problems, like, how can I overcome this, and then put down like your strengths and weaknesses, so that you can like tackle down the weaknesses and gain like some strength in it. Because that's how I feel. It's because what's the whole point of going to your, like, you could use your strengths for your weaknesses, but you could like strengthen those weaknesses with your strengths, is what I mean.
Yeah, like turning your handicaps into assets.
Yes.
You know, if you've got OCD, for example, guess what? You're probably really good at organizing.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
If you're depressed, guess what? You know exactly what's been wrong in the past so that you can create a better future. If you've got anxiety and you're so far into the future that you're predicting all these crazy things that could possibly happen, guess what? You're using your intuition to predict what may possibly go wrong so you can prevent that, so you can, cultivate the strength and the courage to do the thing anyway.
Yes. And that's what I mean. Like people who know everybody knows their own truth and what they've gone through, where they feel stuck in life, like they can write down like, how can I fix this? And so that they can find a solution to their problems. They can write down their problems on the paper for their own self-analysis, and then while they're on the journey and then they're into that state of mind, they're able to figure out and detangle those problems. So that's what I mean, that integrate is write down what exactly you want to do with it, and how you want to fix, and how can you fix them. Because that's where sometimes when I do microdoses, I do write down, how can I overcome this anxiety? How can I overcome this doubt? How can I overcome this limited belief? And then that's where you have to find your roots again, like find your truth. Because most of the questions that you're asking yourself, we already know, we just have to find them. And by writing down, it's giving you a guide to find your solution. And that's where I would say, when you take these plants, you would have something to do for those hours and have things that you could fill in your time with. You could do yoga, you could do meditation, you could do heart awakenings with your heart chakra. You could cleanse it out. You could cleanse out your traumas, your bad experiences, feelings of resentment. wash away your feelings, because ultimately I feel people want to feel that peace and that joy and that light that comes with it.
Yeah.
And by having that intention and writing it down, I feel like your energy is going to flow, because if you have your mind on it, your consciousness is just aware of that question, and keeping that in mind is what's going to help you find the light to the end of the tunnel, because ultimately you're trying to get out of that darkness and those questions and create that alchemy with those feelings. And I feel like that's how I start when I integrate these substances. I write down what I want to do with it, how I'm going to do it. If I'm going to be writing, I'm going to have my journal next to me. I'm going to have a couple extra pens. Make sure your setting is organized. Make sure everything is clean. Make sure you have, for me, make sure you have some meal prep. I like to prep some salads, some bread I like to toast, or soup in case you get hungry. Because sometimes on the substances you feel very light. Your body feels very, very light. And you do have to feed your mind something. So have healthy food around. That's where I would say, like, if you're gonna integrate these plants, like, have things that are gonna make you feel good. I would say, like I said, have a clean environment, organized environment. If you're gonna do art, already have the canvases and the paint out. If you're gonna do music, have it all out and ready, because if you're gonna go get those things out while you're on it, it could give you like a nervous jerk, like anxiety, like, oh, you need to do that. Like, get everything ready, like, just have it ready so you won't have to get ready, so that you could integrate these into your trip, into your self-discovery, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really appreciate these tips. I think it's going to be really helpful for a lot of people. I just have one last question for you.
Yes.
If I was to hand you a dandelion, what would be your wish for the world?
Wow. If we could set a balance, and I think restore the common good for humanity's peace and hope, that people could find that light and love in their life and in their heart, so that maybe that they won't have that hate and try to tear others apart. I wish that for all those who are in pain or in need of healing, that they could get a light of hope. And if I could bring hope and love and a dream to this world, that would be my wish. By blowing the dandelion, that is what my heart wishes, is peace and love for humanity, for us to live in that heavenly dream. So I think that's what we're here for. We're here to create heaven on earth.
It's all happening, right?
Yes. I just got emotional because that's truly what I mean, and it warms my heart just speaking those words. If people could hear that, I hope it could touch them and their heart, and hopefully have a open mind to trying different things so that they can heal too, because everybody needs some healing.
Yeah, it has a ripple effect.
Yes. And thank you so much, because I feel like being here with you, chatting, it's like hopefully we could be that big ripple effect and
The tsunami.
yes, so that it can like wash away other people's fear of these substances, and so they won't be so afraid and that scarcity mindset of that these could hurt you. Like, these plants are here to help us heal and grow, and if we could remove that image that it has been demonized in Western society, that just makes my soul happy. If that could happen, and hopefully people can see a different perspective to these sacred medicines.
Thank you so much. Last thing, Ami, is how can everybody reach you? What's the best way?
The best way to reach me is through Instagram. Amy Love You. That's gotta be the best platform to reach me at.
Yeah, thank you. And I'll link it below so it's clickable for everybody listening today.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you too. We'll definitely have to do this again.
Yes, definitely. I would love to talk to you about my my mushroom experience. It was very different than the LSD.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll make it happen though.
Yes, I would love it, and I can't wait to hear this on the radio, and I'm just so grateful today for this amazing opportunity to share my perspective and my experience. Maybe it can help others, guide them to healing, because that's what we're here for.
Absolutely. Thank you again.
And thank you so much for spreading awareness, because I feel like a lot of people need that information to be spread.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. You're such a bright soul. I'm so happy people like you exist in this world.
I feel that too, and there's something happening now where we're all able to come together, and I think that's really, really powerful.
Yes. Like you said, it could have that major ripple effect.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll talk soon though. Bye for now.
Bye. Have a beautiful day.
You too. Enjoy the rest of it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
In February of 2022, the Victoria Cannabis Buyers Club and Ted Smith were fined $6.5 million. This for helping 8,500 patients with access to medical cannabis. In our interview with Ted, he spoke to us about how people can donate to help in an upcoming court challenge. And here is part of that interview. From what I've seen lately, I believe that you've got something that you're trying to do as far as fundraising to deal with this next court challenge.
For now, people can write checks directly to Jack Lloyd Law Corporation or send e-transfers to save the BCBC at gmail.com. I guess those are the two easiest ways for people to help right now.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Growing your own cannabis is easier than you think. Whether you're growing for recreational or medical purposes, BMA Hydroponics has everything you need to succeed. From the standard 4-plant recreational systems to the latest cutting-edge hydroponic equipment, BMA can customize your package and do it at discount prices. Visit BMA Hydroponics at 404 Maitland Drive in Belleville and ask us for a free estimate. Or call 613-967-9888 and we will give you an estimate over the phone.
The only way to go.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
The secret history of LSD is the story of the struggle between good and evil in the human heart. All the threads of life and death, virtue and virulence, hell, the deep journey from cosmic emptiness to the illumination of galaxies are stored in the conscious reservoir accessible through LSD. Dr. Stanislav Grof called LSD a non-specific amplifier of the unconscious. It magnifies what is already inside us, magnifies the struggle between good and evil. Its extraordinary powers were discovered accidentally in 1943 by the Swiss chemist Albert Hofmann, who intended to create a new migraine pill out of ergot, a fungus that grows on diseased grain. Refined ergot had been used for centuries as a medicine, as a psychedelic mystery sacrament, and as a way to teach people the secrets of witchcraft. During the synthesizing process, Hofmann unintentionally ingested a small amount of LSD. He then took perhaps the most famous bike ride in history. The following morning he felt positively rejuvenated, saying, "I had the feeling that I saw the earth and the beauty of nature as it had been when it was created. It was a beautiful experience. I was reborn, seeing nature in quite a new light." Despite such auspicious beginnings, he later called LSD his problem child, after the social uproar it caused during the late 1960s. But the secret history of LSD is not one of a problem child, but rather one of a wonder child, whose awesome power amplified the timeless struggle between good and evil during the mid-20th century. And that struggle has implications today. The next moves we make are going to have a tremendous impact on the future of this story. What made LSD so attractive was the way it evoked what philosophers call mind at large. Mind at large represents every thought of every entity, human, animal, and extraterrestrial, that has existed since the Big Bang, and we are all hardwired into it. Accordingly, the human brain acts as a pressure valve, which guards our consciousness against this total sensory overload. LSD eases that valve, allowing the very building blocks of creation to flood the mind. The obvious question arises: who would control this awesome power? Various interests like the medical community, the CIA, and modern mystics all saw themselves as the true keeper of LSD's potential. Initially, LSD found a home in therapeutic settings, helping people sort out their innermost suffering, finding that bridge between mental hell and mental health. People lined up to take LSD. In fact, they demanded it. Treating these personal problems served as a way to nourish the larger society. LSD was going to heal the planet. One trauma, one anxiety attack, one depressive episode at a time. Many of the doctors giving LSD to patients also enjoyed the medicine themselves. For ages, intellectuals had sought a way to touch both the deepest parts of their being and touch the deepest parts of the cosmos. This principle has been articulated in many ways, but my personal favorite phrasing goes, "As above, so below." LSD was the long-awaited celestial adhesive that bridged the holy heavens to the human heart. The very doctors who saw LSD as a medicine for their patients saw it as a metaphysical tool for themselves. But this duality, this above and below, comes with a sinister side. You see, sometimes the very tools of enlightenment, the very tools used for good, are used instead for abhorrent purposes. LSD offers one such example. Half a century ago, LSD was taken out of the mental health clinic and into the war room. The CIA sought to use the non-specific amplifier of LSD as a mind control weapon under a top-secret operation called MKUltra. It was here where LSD revealed the true depths of depravity found in the human heart. MKUltra personnel felt that unsuspecting people would make the best targets, and so they launched Operation Midnight Climax to secretly drug American citizens. Through Midnight Climax, the CIA funneled money to a man named George Hunter White, who used the funds to rent apartments in New York and San Francisco. He would then frequent the local bars and lure both sex workers and their clients back to the apartment to secretly dose them with LSD. He wanted to see if LSD could be used to put a person, a foreign leader perhaps, in a compromised sexual situation for later use in blackmail. Midnight Climax did not work out well operationally. Many of the dosed victims huddled in the corner of the apartment, too terrified to speak, let alone discuss sexual habits. They no doubt suffered long-term, untreated trauma from the experience. George Hunter White had very little regard for the human devastation he caused with LSD, saying of this time, "Sometimes when people had information, there was only one way you could get it. If it was a girl, you put her tits in the drawer and slammed the drawer. If it was a guy, you took his cock and hit it with a hammer. And they would talk to you. Now with these drugs, you could get information without having to abuse people." MKUltra also tested LSD on children, who were taken to secret locations where they were sexually humiliated and trained as assassins. One young girl abused by these trials later testified, "They would perform radiation as well as mind control and drug experiments on me. I would receive intensive electric shock, isolation for days, sleep deprivation where they would attach electrodes to me, and if I started to fall asleep, they would shock me." She was 10 years old at the time. One of the doctors abusing these children was Wilson Green, who admitted, "I like scaring them. They and the agency think I'm a god, creating subjects and experiments for whatever deviant purposes they can think up." MKUltra left behind a trail of human devastation and 2 deaths. Well, at least 2 deaths that we know about. The CIA found that they could not turn LSD into a weapon, so in 1973 MKUltra was totally abolished. With the question of an LSD weapon abandoned, more compassionate researchers started to ask new questions. Is there a consciousness out there in the universe? A supreme principle? Can that highest consciousness be reached through the byways of our own neural circuitry? Was LSD the key? Some LSD aficionados, like the author Aldous Huxley and the philosopher Alan Watts, thought yes. They formed secret societies around the Los Angeles area in the late 1950s, using LSD in modern adaptations of ancient pagan mystery ceremonies. One doctor who was also a part of this LSD society stated, "We saw ourselves as members of a consciousness clan that goes back through history to Eleusis and the Sufis and the Vedic Hindus." A different side of LSD was now being specifically amplified, not as a weapon or even a therapeutic medicine, but as a sacrament. To many who were working with LSD in this way, it sat right beside the wheel, fire manipulation, and toilet paper in the annals of great human achievements. Many saw it as a vital epoch in civilization. And so artists, mathematicians, homemakers, professors, and scientists all took LSD hoping to find the natural triggers of human evolution. This, of course, raised questions about the nature of God and the meaning of life. And so clergymen started participating in LSD sessions, blessing their psychedelic congregants and offering spiritual advice during the peak. An LSD-using Bible study group even formed in Palo Alto, California. All of this was eclipsed by the tumultuous 1960s when media manipulation, fear-mongering, and irresponsible use by unprepared explorers unfairly cast LSD into disrepute. LSD was eventually criminalized in the late 1960s, but its influence did not die. Instead, it went underground, planting the seeds that would one day blossom into the kind of culture that would accept it. Now this is where we come in. The secret history of LSD teaches us that LSD is not a magic bullet that guarantees love and enlightenment. Its awesome powers can be used just as easily for evil. But this comes with a bonus. By acknowledging our own shadow side, we can be more forgiving of others and build a more tolerant, less polarized world. Our culture is fractured, but perhaps there is an opportunity here. We are being given a chance to once again demonstrate the value of LSD and bring that secret history to light. As more and more cities, states, and countries decriminalize all psychedelic medicines, we have the ability to direct the fate of this non-specific amplifier. That is the magic we all have within us. So let's close our eyes and just imagine what we could amplify. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of AfterSkool. I'm psychedelic historian Thomas Hatzis. If you enjoyed the info presented in this video and you'd like to take a deeper dive into these topics, then please consider checking out my latest book, LSD the Wonder Child, The Golden Age of Psychedelic Research in the 1950s. Right now you can visit audible.com/afterschool or text AfterSkool to 500-500 and start listening to my audiobooks, all of which are narrated by me. So if you're interested in the secret history of psychedelia, from ancient pagan mystery ceremonies to medieval witches, Renaissance magicians, and the modern psychedelic renaissance, you can start listening now with a free 30-day trial from Audible and get access to thousands and thousands of all you can listen to audiobooks, podcasts, and original entertainment included in the Plus catalog. Visit audible.com/afterschool or text AfterSkool to 500-500. Thank you so much for listening. Viva la psychedelic renaissance.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network, here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
BMA Hydroponics has everything you need to succeed. Visit our hydroponics superstore at 404 Maitland Drive in Belleville, and we'll show you how to grow your own quality cannabis for pennies per gram. We're open Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Thursdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Call 613-967-9888. BMA Hydroponics. It's worth the drive. The only way to go. When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20, it's so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partner 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420 enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products, make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyndonega Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
Did you know that the Pace Radio Network isn't just a radio network? That's right, because most, but not all of our programming is now done via video and is then podcasted at paceradio.net. So if you want to watch, yes, watch our programming, you'll find us on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook page, plus the show's own page, and you'll find us live on the network's YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can find it all, video and audio, at paceradio.net.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network, here at Pace